Good morning, everyone. I think this is the second video of the new year, and as you can see, still in ISO. Gotta love that. Yes, I am positive for COVID, but I'm feeling fine, and I just have to wait till I get a negative result. So today we're going to be doing a half cut crease in ISO. How about that? Anyway, doesn't matter. It is what it is. I'm just hoping that the lighting doesn't like hamper the video so that you can see everything that I'm doing, because I know that there's someone in particular that's going to be watching that really wants to learn how to do this technique. Hi, Tiffany. And so I'm hoping that the lighting's not too bad. So what I've done already, of course, I've put on my skincare. I have lined where my eyebrows are going to go later. As you can see, they're looking a bit green because you know what? They are green. I ran out of eyebrow pencil yesterday, and then I thought, oh my God, what am I going to use? The only thing that I had was a green eyeliner. So, you know what? It's not going to matter because I'm going to put eyebrow powder over it later on, which is dark brown, so it's not that big of a deal. So, other than the green eyeliner, what I've done is I've put on some eye primer. Oh, there's a little bit of moisture hanging around there. I can't find my beauty blender right now. I've put on some eye primer, and that's about it. So what we're going to do now, people that have watched my videos before know that I do this a lot. We're going to tape up. Now, what I call taping up is we put a piece of tape along the area where we want the eyeshadow to go so that we get a nice straight clean line. Today we're going to actually tape up a little bit below where I want that line to be, because I'm actually going to put eyeshadow in there so that I can fade it into the other colours. So I'm just going to go, that light's shocking, isn't it? I'm really sorry, but it's not really much I can do about it, unfortunately. I'm just going to, like normally I would put it there. I'm just going to drop it slightly below that. Oops, this one's folded over itself. Okay, so where I would normally go, and then I'm just going to move it down just slightly. Okay. Now, you know what one thing is that I don't have? My palette that I'm using today. So hang on 2 seconds and I'll just go and grab what I need. Okay, so sorry about that. I thought I had everything, but actually I didn't. So, excuse me. What we're going to be using today is one of the Makeup Obsession palettes by Revolution Beauty, and it's called Nude is the New Nude. That's pretty funny. And we're going to be using these sort of neutrals today. Okay. So, what I normally would do is I would start off with my darkest matte colour. Now, I'm just looking for a little brush to use. I've just got a soft, flat eyeshadow brush here. And so our darkest colour is going to be this one down here, which is called Textile. So, I'm just loading the brush, and I'm not tapping off the excess this time because I want to pack the colour in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down that tape. Sorry, you really can't see that well, can you? I'm going down that tape because the colour's ending up a little bit in that under eye area as well, which is good because I want to tie the two together later on. And then I'm just bringing it around where you can see that orbital bone comes around my eye socket and into the crease of my eyelid. And I'm just kind of pressing the colour in. Might need a little bit more. So we're just going around that shape of the eye and back towards the tape and down. Just need a little more there. Just looks a little bit uneven. Okay, now I'm just going to smooth it across. I'm not actually like blending it. I'm kind of just smoothing it so that there's no uneven bits. Like so. Now, again, you might be able to see this eye better because the light's hitting this side of my face. I'm just packing the colour and then I'm taking it up and along that orbital bone, or the eye socket if you like, and right into the crease of my eyelid. Definitely going to need some more on that side. Now you just pack the colour in until you end up with the level of colour that you want. Tiny bit more. And again, just smoothing it across gently to make sure that the colour's nice and even. Alright, let me have a little look in the mirror because I kind of can't really tell in the screen. I should have done that before, shouldn't I? Okay, this side needs a little bit more, just for my personal preference. God, that one's coming down way too far. You know what, doesn't matter, we'll fix it up later. Okay, now we're ready to move on to our next colour. So what you're going to want to choose now is like a medium, a medium colour. I'm just saying medium colour instead of brown because you might be using different colours. So yeah, basically you use your darkest colour in the crease, and then you do a medium colour on top of that, and then you do your lightest blending colour at the top so that the colour gradually fades up. Now I'm just going to grab a medium-sized fluffy blender when I can locate one. Ah, got one. Just like that. Now, I think what we might do is we might move along to this like chocolate brown colour here, which is called Culture. From what I can see from this palette, it seems to be about 2 shades lighter than the darkest colour that we used, but it's still got the same tones, if that makes sense. Like, if I had have gone along to this one here, it's a lot of cooler brown, so it's kind of, the tones are a little bit too different. So I'm just dipping in this time. I'm not loading the brush, I'm just dipping in. Again, I'm not tapping off the excess because I want to pack this colour in. So I'm just going to look in the mirror because I'm kind of really out of my depth with the camera today. And I'm just going along where I put the previous colour. And if you need more, just get more, because you want this colour to be even right along where you placed that eyeshadow previously, because that's going to be our first blending step, is these two colours. Okay, what are we using? Culture, aren't we? Again, I'm just packing the colour along, and I'm kind of going over the line where the two colours join at the moment. A little bit more, especially in this area here. And as you can see, that line's a little bit blurred. Now, this time when I dip in, I am going to tap off, because this time we're blending, not packing. Okay? So I'm just kind of rubbing the brush along where the two colours join. I'm just like almost rubbing out the line in between the two colours, if that makes any sense at all. Just going back and forth until I can't see that line anymore. Sorry about the lighting, people. It's kind of a bit atrocious, isn't it? Sorry, just need to get some liquid on my throat. That's the only thing I've noticed since I had COVID. I just got to clear my throat all the time. Okay, so again, on this side, we're just going along where we were previously, but slightly above it. Okay, now I'm going to start blending, so I'm tapping off the excess and I'm just rubbing across where the two colours meet. I think that's what I was trying to think of before, and my brain kind of rebooted and it didn't really happen. Doesn't matter how many times you go over it, because blending is the most important step. We don't want any harsh lines, we want everything to look nice and soft. Okay, so if you feel you need to, and this actually helps with the blending, and I like to do it because I like everything to be really defined, you can dip back into that darker colour that you did first and just run it along where you placed it before and then just work it up a bit, just so that blurring effect is nice and even. And plus I like to take the darker colour up a little bit, because when you cut that crease later, you'll see sometimes you tend to lose that colour a little bit. And sometimes even after I've cut the crease, I'll go back in and just pop a little bit more of that darker colour in. Now, we are grabbing a very fluffy blender this time. See that one? Because this is going to be like our really big time blending colour. Now, which one would I like to go with? That one's going to be too cool. I think I'm going to use this one here, Slumber. It's like a really light tan. So, dipping in. I'm not tapping off the excess this first time, but all the subsequent times I will be. Now, I'm starting from the outside corner, because we want the colour to become more subtle as it gets closer into the nose area there. And I'm just like dabbing it across where that previous eyeshadow ends. Now, tapping off this time, because we don't want too much product on there. So I'm just rubbing back and forwards again. And I kind of just go down a little bit and then up towards the eyebrow area, just so that I'm like fading the colour up, so that like you've got dark, a little bit dark, less dark, and then it gets lighter as you go towards the eyebrow. Doesn't matter how long it takes for you to do this bit, because this bit is really kind of the most important bit. It also doesn't matter if this lighter shade covers up some of the other shades that we've already done, because after we've done this, we will go back in like we did before and touch up those other colours. Yeah, that light really is terrible. I'm really sorry about that, everyone. So I'm just going in. I was thinking about this the other day. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. You know how they tell you to do big circles? Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing big circles across the area where the colours meet. And then I'm going back and forward like I was before, rubbing across the colours. Okay. Yeah, you can't really see, can you? It's really terrible. I'm really sorry. I'll just try and describe everything that I'm doing really well, so that you can figure it out. It is quite early in the morning at the moment, so the light is very changeable at the moment, so it may improve in a second. Okay. So I'm just repeating what I did on the first eye, just packing that colour in first of all, and just rubbing back and forth across it. Wonder how much excess eyeshadow there is tapped off in my carpets. I know that there's about 55 pounds of glitter, because of course there is. You know what I mean? Like, I've got to have glitter. I can't help it. Glitter makes everything better. It just does. So I'm just doing big circles again. We're not brushing our teeth, we're brushing our eyeshadow. How about that? Okay, I'm pretty happy with how it looks. Hopefully you can get a bit of an idea. So I'm just going to go in with that medium brown now and just smooth everything a little bit. Just so that when we cut the crease we don't lose those colours like I was talking about before. It also helps with the blending too, if you go back in with those other colours. It's looking nice, I'm happy with it. I'm so sorry you can't see it very well. Okay. So you can kind of just see it there. See the way it fades up? And I like to just go to the end and take it up to meet my eyebrow, because later on too, when I do my eyebrows, I'll be putting concealer and stuff underneath my eyebrows, so sometimes that contributes to you losing the other colours as well, if that makes sense. Oh, look at that. It's reflecting off the mirror. Okay, another sip. So now we're going to cut the crease. I've recently found out that my favourite cutting the crease product is the Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation from Revolution Beauty. I found that out by accident one day, and you know what? It has been really good. So that's a little tip. So I'm just going to grab a really nice, largish, like medium probably, medium to large, flat brush for cutting the crease. Now this is nearly empty, and I'll have to get another one, so hopefully I can get some out of it. I cannot find my palette knife, because I usually scoop it out with my palette knife, but it doesn't seem to be here today. It's on holiday. It's taken a day off. How about that? Okay, I'm just going to have to see if I can scrape some from the bottom with the applicator, and I'm just kind of putting it onto my hand. Oh, my foot's asleep. Don't you just hate that? Okay, I think I've got enough. Now, so I've got quite a lot of product on there. Oh God, that's terrible, isn't it? What if we... it's pretty bad. I'm really sorry. It's... Hang on, that was a bit good, wasn't it? for a second there. Is that any better? Maybe. So I'm just going right along my eyelid. Now, here's our trick, and I don't know if I told you guys this one last time. Put your chin on your chest, and then try and roll your eye backwards as far as you can. No, that's atrocious. Actually, that's better. See how there's that little line there? That's where we're going to put our foundation to cut the crease. That's where the natural crease is. Sorry, I'm kind of a bit put off by the lighting. Like, it's actually it's not. I think if I move around here a bit, it'll be better. Yep, that looks better, doesn't it? Yep. Actually, no, it's not better. This is so silly, isn't it? It's really silly. Anyway, doesn't matter. We'll get there. Okay, so where that little line has imprinted is where the natural crease is. So we're just going to pat along that, and we're not going to go all the way down to the tape because we're doing a half cut crease. So we're only going up halfway. Well, we're going across halfway, sorry. Okay, so I've patted it on. I'm just making sure that the line's nice and crisp now. And I'm just running the edge of the brush along that crease area. Just neatening everything up. And making sure that there's enough product there. Just like that. Really sorry about this lighting, guys. It's pretty horrid, isn't it? Anyway, we'll crack on. So again, we're just dabbing it along the eyelid. And then rolling it along to find that natural crease. Don't worry if one eye is different to the other. I always have one eye that's different. Because this eye that I'm doing now, I don't know why this is, but it seems to be way more hooded than the other eye is. So I'm just going back in and patting the colour until I end up with the shape that I want. And then I go back and make sure everything's crisp and even. And this conceal and define foundation kind of dries off kind of quickly. So I find sometimes that I might have to go in again afterwards. That's okay though, because I kind of like that aspect of it, because when the product that you've cut your crease with is too wet, it kind of prints everywhere all over your eyeshadow that you've just done, and then you have to fix stuff up all the time, and that's kind of painful. There we go. Oh, you can really see it well now. Okay, I'm just gonna jump off for 1 second because I've just realised that I really do need to grab something, so I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay, so what I went to actually grab was this. This is a beauty blender, but a mini one, and this one is dry. I have not dampened it, and I'm just using it to remove any excess of that crease cutting product, because a lot of people say to me, how do you get it like the product on your eyelids not to crease? Well, this is how. I just kind of I kind of blot it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm just making sure that everything's even and taking off any excess product that's going to sit in those creases of the eyelid skin. So I just go across it and I just dab off the excess. Alright, so now we're going to start placing the lid colours. So I'm just going to grab a very soft flat eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to start off with my lightest shimmer shade. Sorry about that. And we're going to go in with this colour here called Canvas, because it's the only shimmer shade in this palette. So we've really got no other choice but that. You could use a matte if you wanted to. I just prefer to use a shimmer shade for my first one. So I've loaded up the brush, not tapping off, and I'm just packing the colour into that inner corner of my eye there, and over the top of the crease cutting product. And I like to go in a couple of times. This time I'm actually pulling the colour across, and you can see that it's starting to shine a little bit. And then I like to pull the colour down and just blur it across, because I find that when you pull the colour down, you really get that metallic shimmer effect. Just like that. That looks really pretty, doesn't it? It looks like a pearl. Okay, again, just doing the same thing, packing the colour into that inner corner area of the eyelid. Okay, this time we're pulling across. And then this final time we're pulling down. I just find when you pull down like that on the colour, it really intensifies that shimmer effect. Okay, so that's our first colour placed. Now it's really important when you do this to make sure that you keep one brush for each colour. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to grab another flat brush, but I'm going to go in with that blending colour that we did up the top. So like I've got the almost white shimmer colour, and then I've got the tan colour, and it will gradually fade back into that very dark brown colour that we first put on. So again, I'm loading the brush, just scraped that, that was not good. And this time I'm starting from this end, and I'm actually gonna pat this colour up the middle of my eyelid, because eventually that's going to blend into the shimmer shade. So I'm just packing it across like that. Now, I'm just rubbing it back and forth like I was before when we blended the colours in the crease. Okay? And this time I'm tapping off because I don't want too much excess. I'm just smoothing it out towards the darker colours. Need a little bit more in this area here. I can see that there's just a little bit of unevenness. Okay, so we've got that colour there. Now I'm going to go back in with my shimmer shade brush, but I'm not actually going to add any extra product because we're just blurring the colours together. So sorry again, the light's a bit specky, but where those two colours join, I'm just going to rub it across just so that the shimmer shade fades in to that matte shade that we've just done. And then you can go back in with your matte shade brush if you end up kind of losing that colour a little bit, and just kind of almost like filling it in a bit. So I'm just going to do the other eye now. So just packing the colour onto the middle of my eyelid. And then just rubbing it back and forth. Just making sure that the colour's even. Okay, now I'm going back in with my shimmer brush just to blur the two together. Okay, so now we're going to go back in with our medium fluffy blender, and we're going to go into that medium brown, and I'm just dipping in and tapping off because I don't want to load heaps of dark brown onto the really nice light colours that I've just done, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix up the lighting again. It's absolutely atrocious today. Really sorry. Oh God, maybe if I turn it around again. That's no good, is it? Just nothing seems to help, does it? That was a bit better, but you know what? That was only temporary, wasn't it? Okay, I'm going to do my best, guys. So, I can't. It's just not good, is it? I wonder if I do this. Is that any better? Nah, it's worse, isn't it? I don't know. Okay. That's a bit better. I've got it sitting on my lap at the moment. Actually, that's quite good. Okay, so we've dipped into our medium brown colour. We've tapped off the excess. So I'm just going to dab it in here, where those browns begin. And make sure you take it up and over the top a little bit too, because we want that crease to really fade into the other colours. Oh, okay, I thought I dipped into the wrong colour, but I actually haven't. Okay, so now I'm just rubbing and using small circles to kind of rub that colour into that really neutral shade that we put before. And see how I said before, I'm kind of going back across that crease area a little bit, like that. Okay, so let's do our final pass with this. Well, our final pass, what I mean is if this ends up looking the way that I want it to, then I won't add any more. Okay, just like that. I am going to go in with the really dark colour in a minute. So, just patting the colour in. And then just rubbing it across. A little bit more, I think, is needed. I'm loving how soft it looks. Alright, so now I'm just going to grab the brush we did our darkest colour with. I have to remember this, it's way better on my lap. Merrily? Okay, Mickey, are you right, darling? There you go. Had his claw caught then, didn't you, mate? Okay, so I'm just going to kind of rub that into that area there. And like back towards the tape, only grabbing little bits of product. And now I'm just rubbing it up along that crease area. Just so that there's a lot more definition between the lighter colours and the darker colours, if that makes sense. Just like that. And I just like to go back along like so. Less is more with this one. Like, you can always add more product if you feel like you need to, but once you've loaded too much in there, it's really hard to get rid of it. If that makes sense. So I'm just going to blur those two. And we just need a little bit more of our light tan in that middle there. I just feel like I'm losing that colour a little bit. So you might have noticed that I'm always going back in with the previous colour and just blurring everything after I put more colour on. Okay, so there you have it. That's the half cut crease in neutral colours. Now, of course, as you know, I will be going back in with glitter and eyeliner and all those sorts of things. So, if you would like to see a photo of the final look, drop me a comment and I'll try and put a thumbnail up in the comments. So, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Sorry about the lighting issues with this video, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks, everyone. Bye.